Welcome everyone to Yoga at Rod's Place. I'll put a couple of videos up on YouTube so you can keep up your practice. Hey, welcome everyone. We'll do an hour of Rod's Yoga. So let's start off with the feet together, the hands together, and chant an Om. Now go through the 5 spinal movements. So go a little wider with your feet and the legs. As you reach up, lift the pubic bone a little to lengthen your lower back and draw your shoulders forwards and up to traction your upper back. You can also lace the fingers here if you want. Turn the palms up or lift the heels if you want to strengthen your calves. Or maybe you want to strengthen your legs by bending them a little bit. Maybe your knees can go all the way into a bend so you're like in a squat, but if that's not happening, that's okay as well. Number 2 of the 5 spinal movements is the flexion. So go down to the heels and hands and shorten the front, lengthening the back. And again here you might lift the heels, you might bend the legs, or maybe go all the way down into a squat. And then number 3 is the lengthening of the front of the spine. So keep the knees bent, the belly and the throat a little bit short, so you can lengthen the front of the hips and chest. You can also pull your shoulders back by pulling against the other hand. And if you look down, you might be able to balance enough to lift the heels or bend the knees, or possibly again go all the way down if that's okay for your knees. You're really just rolling those shoulders back and stretching the chest. Number 4 is the lateral flexion. So come back up, we'll lengthen the right side. So just reach over to the left, pull with your left toe. And also make a fist here and lengthen your outer forearms. If that's too simple, you can pull on your right hand with the left hand and go a little further over. Or if you want to work on your balance, you might lift the left toe off the floor. If that's still too easy, you might take your left knee nice and high. Yeah, stay or move to the other side. Lengthen your left side. So reach across. Notice I've got the palm facing backwards on the left hand. If you want a little more forearm stretch, you might wrap the thumbs, bend the wrists. If you want to strengthen your right leg, you can pull with the right toe, grip with your left toes. The lever option, another variation here is the cross wrist, palms towards each other, just drawing the shoulders forwards into the armpits, shortening the belly a little bit, just lengthening the lower back. Or the balance, you can tap with the right toe, lift the right toes, or lift the whole right leg. Okay. Then we'll work on the twist. So take your left leg forwards, pull with the toe, bend both knees a little bit, and reach your right arm over to the left. Stay there or hook it with your left arm, take it a little further round, draw down your shoulders, and maybe lower your left ear and bend the wrists. Stay there or bring both arms to the left. While you're looking left, you might lower the right ear. Extend your elbows and fingers, bend the wrists. But looking back to the front again, if you want to stabilize your left knee, you could straighten it all the way as you turn it out. You can also work on your balance here if you want to lift the left leg a bit off the floor. On the other side, grip with your left toes or bend in the knees. Slightly higher pubic bone, lengthening the lower back. You can also push your belly out as you do all these, so you can breathe a little bit easier while you shorten the belly and stabilize your lower back with your abs. The same on the other side, hooking the left arm with the right arm. You might have your right ear down, maybe your chin in a little bit, drawing the shoulders down. Just calm belly breaths whenever you need them, and try reaching all the way around, both arms, lowering the left ear. Just wiggle your thumbs here and fingers. Back to the front, lowering the right ear. Chin in a little bit. And if you want to work on stabilizing your right knee, turn the leg out as you straighten it. You might even balance a bit, tapping with the toe, or raising the whole right leg off the floor. Okay, next up we'll do a salutation to the sun. So this is another little warm-up you can do. We'll start with bent legs, we'll do the spinal flexion. Go out at hands together for a little more of that forearm lengthening. And then we'll go up, out over the legs, keeping the gaze up, the spine fairly straight, and curl into the bent legs to flex your spine. And then Holding the floor, just step back, come onto your front, and then we'll lift the limbs. So this one just relaxes your front, strengthens the back, which is a great way to do a back bend that's nice and safe. Careful with your neck here. If that's too easy, try pulling with the elbows, pushing with the pubic bone as you press the tops of the feet into the floor, or pulling with the forearms. Draw in the front ribs a little bit if your lower back's bending too much, or maybe lift your elbows off the floor for a cobra. Then come back into a crawling position and lengthen the back of the spine by shortening the belly. Draw your middle back up, the sitting bones to wrist, the chin to the collar, shoulders to the armpits. Then we'll go back to the feet in child pose, and this is a good one to rest in if you need to during the class. So you can pull with the hands, lengthen your spine, draw your ribs down the thighs. Then puppy dog, if you bring your hands a little further forwards, hand shoulder width, knees underneath your pelvis, hip width apart, and we're lowering the chest but using a bit of the abs so you don't bend too much in the lower back. And see if you can roll the inner elbows up so the outer shoulder rolls down and just keeps the upper back nice and broad. Okay, and then from there we'll work on down dog. So if you bring your shoulders more over your hands, tuck under the toes, lift the knees, you can do a bent leg version of the downward facing dog pose. Or you might want to lengthen your calves while lowering the heels, but just notice how I'm sort of pretty low with my shoulders. So if you find when you straighten your legs, your shoulders come over the hands, you might just keep your legs bent. Just trying to get the blood flow into the head using gravity. Okay, and then we'll step back to the front of the mat, do a bent leg forward bend again with the feet together. Lift the head, maybe look up, wait for your back muscles to get a little tired. Then use the abs, curl the head in into the lower back. Then we'll roll up through the spine, give it a bit more mobilizing, sweep the arms up, and then we'll take them back down again. Okay, so we'll just do a similar version to this, just a little more challenging. Start with chair pose, bent legs and the raised arms, maybe inhale, and do your nice slow exhaling straight back forward, then curl in a little if you want. Now here's the legs. When you come up a bit with the head, step back the left foot, bring your right leg out of the way, come down to your left knee, and we'll work on mobilizing the right hip. If you can't go all the way down, just start off here. Right forearm on the thigh, left hand, thumb on your bottom. Just even check that left buttock is activated. That'll help relax the front of the left hip. You can also pull with the front leg and keep your belly a little bit short so you don't hurt your lower back. But if you want to go a little bit lower, you might be both hands on the floor or both forearms, or possibly straighten the back leg. See how you feel. Just maybe start off at 70% of your maximum range of movement and be like that for a while. Another option here is to bring the upper body up and keep the abs on so you don't bend too much in the lower back. Also look a bit from one side to the other and introduce a few interesting sensations to the hip joints. Now we'll go back to the middle of the mat with the right big toe, with the foot turned in slightly, and bring the back foot a little closer and bend the back knee. So get the back heel up, toes pointing forwards. And we'll work on lengthening your back. So I'm going to take the tail and head down with your abs again and draw your head in towards the knees, give the upper back a little stretch. And also press your shoulders to the hips. And then moving your head back, come up to standing here. Keep the belly a little bit short, your abs on, the left buttock on, and we'll lengthen the front of the left hip. While we're waiting for that to lengthen, do your upper back stretch again. So if you lower the head, reach forwards, maybe pull against your other arm across the wrists, and draw the heart backwards, head down. The 5 spinal movements again. So there's the traction spine, you might remember from earlier on. And then you can move on to the lengthening of your chest, the shoulders down, the arms coming back, bend the wrists, straighten elbows and fingers. That's it. And then the arm on your front leg side, take that down, lengthen your left side. You'll make a fist here, bend the wrist and lengthen the outer forearm as well. So this should be strengthening your legs, lengthening the left hip, and strengthening your abs and left buttock. And try the twist. See if you can look to the right. Also bend the wrists, straighten elbows and fingers. Also spread your fingers. Stretch the palms of the hands. Do that on the other side, but first come back down to hands. Step back your right foot and do some sort of push-up. Now, here's a kneeling version of a push-up. Elbows tucked in. Instead of doing the cobra, let's try the cow. Middle back down and the head up. So lengthening the front of the spine. Tuck the toes back to your version of down dog or puppy dog or child pose. Drawing the chin, lengthen the back of the neck. And lift the wrist just slightly so the base of the index finger's got plenty of weight on it. I'll take the feet back to the front, do a forward bend, so lift the head, bend the knees, and this is just to activate your back muscles. And then when you're ready, lengthen your back by curling the head in with your abs, knees. We'll go back to the chair pose, so a little more knee bending and raising the arms just to strengthen your back. Then come all the way up, straighten your legs, spread your arms. Then with the knees bent and the back straight, the gaze up, come into a slow swan dive. Then just curl in, head to knee. Lift the head a little way, grab the floor at the front of the mat, step back your right foot. We'll see if you can come into a lunge again. So start off easy, back knee down, left forearm on your thigh, and then activate your right buttock and pull with your left leg, pelvis down towards the front heel. Again, if you've got long arms, you might make it to the floor. You might turn your foot out, bring it out of the way, come a little lower down onto your forearms, or maybe again straighten the back leg. Keep pulling with the front leg, drawing your hips down towards the front heel. Keep activating the right buttock, and see if you can mobilize this left hip a little bit. So stay there, or work on your right hip flexor, the front of the right hip lengthening, so you might lean back. And you can also come up onto the fingertips, look from one side or to the other side, and it's helped to mobilize the hips a little bit. And that is the lizard pose, or the gecko. Let's bring the left foot back near the middle, turn the foot in slightly with the big toe on the middle of the mat, bring your back foot a little closer so when you bend the knee, and raise up the middle of the back, you can give your back a nice stretch. So you draw your head towards the left knee. Okay, stay with that. We'll come back with the hands and head. Check your pubic bones nice and high, your tail's low, getting a nice stretch through the front of the right hip. You've activated the right buttock, not too low. And if you get tired, you can always bring your knee down, or you can straighten your front leg. While we're doing that again, you might lengthen your upper back, reach forwards, spread between your shoulder blades. Remember to push your belly out so you can just breathe into it nice and calmly. Okay, then take your arms a little higher and see if you can traction the spine, so shoulders forwards and up, belly a little bit short, just by drawing your front ribs in slightly. Spread the toes, get a grip of the floor, and then the chest stretch. This time try the middle finger pointing up. Spread the fingers, draw down the shoulders, draw back the arms, or you can also point the middle finger back. Just find which one feels most interesting. And then the lateral flexion, right arm up, left arm down. You can bend the wrist, make a fist. Notice I'm mirroring you. Okay, so. And then finish with a little twist to the left. Look over your left shoulder, reach that way, extend your elbows and fingers. Maybe even lower the right ear and the shoulders. Okay, so that's a nice little warm up. Back to your push-up practice again. Same kneeling one, well this time try straight legs with a little elbow bend, maybe tucking those elbows in. And we'll come to the tops of the feet and the knees. And keep the front ribs drawn in to protect your lower back, the buttocks on a little bit, the shoulders rolling back and down. Let's see if you can stretch your chest here without hurting your neck in this version of the upward facing dog pose. Then cat stretch, back to down face dog for a few breaths. And we'll press the heels down, spread out the fingers, and extend the inner elbows. Just while I wait for the blood flow. back into the lane with gravity. I'm going to work on the arms a bit next, so crow pose. So just step up, have a squat, work on that. If squatting's a bit too easy, get your hands a bit wider, bend your elbows so the upper arm presses on the inner leg or front of the knee, between the inner edge of the kneecap and the inner knee bone. Wherever you can get it to grip, try one foot, bring that back down. The other foot, don't take both off until you feel very steady. So rock forward slightly but not too far, and then just lift one foot and just see if you can work on hooking the legs onto the arms. Another option here is the elbows a little wider, squeezing onto the inner knees, or the knees up a little higher in the armpits. So you've really got to find the right one for you, and don't worry if those arms don't grip. Okay, and we'll step back to a squat, and we'll do some mobilizing of the wrist. So just make 2 circles, the outer hand on the outside of the circle, and then the inner hand on the inside of the circle. And then reverse it. So you're just going through a nice movement of the range of movement in the wrists. And we'll set up the middle right finger pointing towards the front of the room or the mat, and then bring your feet back with the right knee on the floor, and see if you can balance on your side for side plank. Use your lats to pull your shoulder to the hip, grip with the fingertips, and if that's too easy, you can go straight legs, reach up, or you can lengthen your side. If you reach your top arm up and over, you can stack up the legs, but it is a tricky balance. Just make sure your heel's on the floor. So that's side plank. If you're looking up, just look past the thumb and bring the head back so you feel broad across the chest. Yeah, we'll try the other side. So left hand on the floor, left knee down. You can also go on your forearm if you've got a wrist injury. As long as your hips are off the floor, you can also reach up there, or do the straight leg option, or the stacked feet option, or reach your arm up and over the head and lengthen your side at the same time. That side plank Vasisthasana. Okay, we'll go back into a downward facing dog pose. We'll lift the hips. Now we're going to work on a little transition here, the 3-legged dog. Let's try the right leg up in the air. So you can press your left heel down. Bend the right knee and lifting the right hip, lengthen your outer right hip. So you've got to twist one hip above the other, the right hip up. Still roll the armpits towards each other, still press on the base of the index finger. Now see if you can bring your right knee towards your head, right, curling the spine, but then bring your shoulders over the wrists and bring your foot down, and see if you can wiggle the foot up towards the front of the mat. I'm going to turn the back foot out on the left side of the mat, heel on the middle, right foot on the right side of the mat, sort of big toe in the middle of the mat. And we'll just reach back in this arrowhead and see if you can keep one leg bent, back leg straight, and press on the outer edge of that foot. Just watch your back leg, press the outer edge down, activate your left buttock, draw in the front ribs a bit, and see if you can come up for warrior one, arms up in the air. If that's safe, maybe look up, reach up, or bend the front knee a little more if that's too easy. So these ones just build a little bit of heat in the body. Warrior two, another option. You can go pelvis to the left, the arms come down to shoulder height, and the gaze is out over that middle right fingernail. Let's keep moving your right knee to the baby toe side of the right heel, and keep the back foot turned in slightly. Left hand coming down, right arm coming up. We've got the peaceful warrior, another lateral flexion. So you can pull on the back leg, you look up towards your right thumb. Okay, and then the right forearm on the right thigh for the side angle pose. Then you can reach to the floor, shorten the belly here, give your lower back a little stretch. While you reach down, stretch the back of the shoulder, or you might reach more towards the front of the room or the floor wall joint, stretch more of this side, or you can bring your arm a little further up over the head, tuck in the chin, look under it, and lengthen more of the front of your left waist. You can also use your right hand to reach towards the back foot to help compress your right side a little more, which helps lengthen the left side. Looking up might be an option, up towards that thumb, just to watch you don't hurt your neck. Okay, now back to normal push-up again, and we'll work through that same little sequence on the other side. So there's the standard push-up. You can always do the kneeling one. Here's the up dog, but with knees off the floor. So just be careful of your lower back. Keep your front ribs drawn in, the shoulders drawn back and down. And you can always do the cow, the cobra, or the knees on the floor variation. Again, and flip back over the toes to back to downward facing dog. Lift the wrists a little bit. Try feet together for this three-legged dog. Press down the right heel. Stay or bend the left knee. Lift the left hip and twist. Still roll the armpits towards each other. Ground in a hand. Lengthen across that left side. And then the step to the front. So you can hunch, you can push with the right toe, grip with the fingers. Once your foot comes down, wiggle it, take your time. Maybe come down with the back end, just wiggle your left foot up until it's under the knee. Okay, then we'll turn the back foot out, bring the heel onto the middle of the mat. So back foot only slightly turned in, then stay low but reach back for arrowhead. Okay, so sort of squaring everything towards the front. And try reaching forwards. Remember to draw in the front ribs, activate your right buttock. Maybe take your arms up, or if that's safe, your neck, look up at the joining thumbs. Or if you've got the outer back foot down, your back leg and lower back are okay, bend your front knee a little more. That's a warrior one. Okay, then warrior two, a bit wider stance. So bring your arms down shoulder height, head above the pelvis, and we'll look past the middle left fingernail. Still same out belly, but slightly shortened, lifting the pubic bone. Dip down a little bit lower. Okay, then peaceful warrior, back hand down, front arm in a backstroke. Lengthening your left side while you wait for the legs to get stronger. And then bring your left forearm to the left thigh, side angle pose. I'm going to compress the left side and gradually lengthen the right. So again, you can reach across the chest. See, I'm turning my chest towards the ceiling, but I'm reaching across it to lengthen the back of the right shoulder. Maybe take your arm up and back. Maybe reach your lower hand towards the back foot. Maybe dip down a little bit lower. So lift the right thumb. Lower the right armpit, but sweep the arm back in a backstroke movement while tucking in the chin, looking down or up at that left thumb. That's side angle, so a little more warmed up. So let's go back to the push-up practice. Plank or kneeling push-up or the normal push-up, whatever you can do. The front stretch again. Inhale, scoop up a little bit here. And then exhale, pull back the tail back to the downward facing dog pose. So next I'm going to work on chair pose and then lengthening the hamstring. So just take a step or hop back to the front of the mat for a little belly stretch. Inhale, then exhale, lower the head, tuck in the chin, then bend the knees. And just check your big toes, ankles and inner knees are touching. Bend the legs and ankles towards a 90-degree bend, but lift the arms, see how you go. Looking up at the thumb, and then we'll twist to the right. So you can hook on to your right leg with your left arm, hold your bottom, lift the right shoulder. If that's too easy, go upper left arm on upper right leg, prayer position the hands. Have a look at the knees. Is the right knee moving back a little bit? Just bring your back forwards so they line up, lengthen the belly, broaden the chest, draw in the lower back. Okay, and to our forward bend while standing up. So hold the bent legs, go a bit wider with the feet. How wide? About the width of two of your fists. Okay, so about hip width. Now see how this feels. Lift the head, tuck in the chin, lengthen the belly, so use your back muscles to do that. Draw the lower back in a little bit. This is to keep your back nice and safe. And if you can feel a stretch, that's enough. Okay, if it's a bit too much, come up a little higher, maybe hold your knees. If it's a bit too little, maybe go a little bit lower down. Notice I've got a slight knee bend, but I've got these muscles on, the back muscles. I'm looking after the back. If you're close enough, you want to wrap the big toes, palms facing each other with the middle and index fingers. You can press the big toe down, maybe bow your elbows. It's nice to pull the big toes forwards, which brings your belly closer to the thighs, but still use your back muscles so you're getting a leg stretch rather than a back stretch. Relax the neck. Lift the shoulders far from the ears and steady the gaze. Follow your breathing. Okay, now we'll go back to chair pose. So try to heel the big toes, ankles and inner knees together. Reach up or forwards. Whatever you can do, maybe palms together. Watch your neck. And then twist to the left. And catch your hip, catch your leg, lift your left shoulder, pull with your right arm. You can just reach, okay? You don't have to pull. If that's not enough, you can get your upper arm and upper leg, prayer position, but watch your left knee doesn't sneak back. Don't lose the twist in your hips. Start to move your sternum, the middle of the chest, around towards the joining thumbs. Same thing, tuck in the chin a little bit, draw your left shoulder up and back. Okay, and one more forward bend. Hold the shins, lift the head, support your back with the arms while you set your feet up about hip width apart. So stay there, or this time you might want to work on just relaxing and lengthening your back. So bend the legs a lot, support with your arms, and see if you can just relax your back and curl the head in, draw your shoulders into the arms. See how that feels. If that hurts your back to do that, then don't. Just go back to the first one, keep your back straight, and just focus on lengthening your hamstrings. Or if that's a bit too easy, you've got your back straight, and you want to work on your hamstrings a bit more, you might go palms up in through the front of the feet. Okay, so just be careful, feel what's happening. If your back's bending too much, straighten it. Tuck in the chin. If your legs are stretching too much, bend them. Okay, so make it a very easy option for you to start off with. So you're not straining, there's no ego involved. Just noticing the sensations along the way and adjusting the pose to suit. Okay, and we'll come up a little with the head, hold on to the hips, and so you can come up with your back fairly straight. Let's see how that feels. Okay, and we'll come back to just facing this way with your feet together. We'll work on balance. So we're going to do hand on the knee pose. So grab your left hip, bend the legs a little, grip with your left toes, and see if you can catch your right knee with your right hand. Now if you can't, just lift your right heel, okay, because the floor's there if you need it. If you can catch your knee, that's fine. Maybe pull it up a little higher if that's too easy. Then bring your knee to the side. Keep your hips facing the front. Maybe look over to the left to make it a little more challenging. Okay, then we've got warrior three. Just try your arms wide. Bend the left leg, lower your head, and bring your right toe on the floor. Turn the leg in, and just see if you can balance there. You can also bend your wrist, lengthen your forearms. Grip with your left toes. If you want to make it a little more challenging, try looking this way, but lifting the back leg and bringing your head down level with the back leg. So that strengthens your left leg. Now to finish, we'll do a little counter pose, a little back stretch. So with your right leg in front, pull, shorten your belly, and then reaching forwards, press your fingertips together to firm your chest. Or if that's too easy, pop your right ankle on your left bent leg's thigh, and see if you move your ribs towards the right shin, but tighten the back of the right knee as if pulling the right heel towards you, but not to stabilize the knee. Or if that's too easy, you can either cross your arms, as in eagle pose, crossing above the elbows, your fingers catching the thumb, or just simply press your palms and elbows together to stretch more of your upper back. Then end up back in tall mountain pose. So bring your feet together and inhaling, raise the arms up. So you're nice and long. And exhale to stand still, arms by the sides. Okay, let's try gripping with the right toes. Pop your left heel on the right foot, lift the toes or lift the leg, or if you can lift it high enough, catch it. You might rest your right hand on the right hip to help you balance. You can also bring your left knee up as well. Another option here is to bring your head down and lengthen your back muscles. Belly shortens, lower back lengthens. From there, move left knee to the left, gaze to the right. You can feel if your pelvis is still facing forwards. And then bring your left leg behind, your arms out wide. And then if you can balance, take your arms up, interlace the fingers, leave your left toe on the floor, bend your right knee. So we're sort of tilting forwards as we did before, but this time with the arms up in the air, it's a little more challenging. So lace the fingers, point the index, draw your shoulders towards the armpits, internally rotate the back legs and straighten the leg. That'll stabilize the knee. Then try tilting a little lower down so you can get your back foot and your head and your hands all the same height. Very challenging pose. And then from there we'll do the counter pose to lengthen your back, so both legs bent. Left turn, front pulling. Lift the front of the pelvis, lower the front of your chest. Or again, you can press your fingertips together, use your biceps and chest here, or lift the leg, or possibly rest the left leg on the right leg. Or bring your elbows together, lengthen your upper back. Or maybe if you can, cross above your elbows in the eagle pose. As the arms straighten, the shoulders draw forwards, lengthens the upper back. As you fold out over the shin, you lengthen the left body and the lower back. And from there, we'll just sweep the arms up. Again, get nice and long, inhale. And then just step back to the front. And we'll move the right foot back and turn to the right. Bring your arms shoulder height, bring your feet under the wrist. We'll go into triangle pose. So facing the right side of the mat, lower the right hip, bend the left knee a little bit, hold on to your left knee with your left hand, and see if you can keep your belly a little bit short so your lower back's nice and long, back leg turning in, front leg turning out, and then gradually roll your right shoulder back. Tuck in the chin a little and look up towards your right thumb. You feel like you're lengthening the lower back, lengthening the front of the chest, while keeping your left side the same length as your right side. Then we'll come back up so you can fold forward. So bring your feet a bit closer together. Hold the hips, turn your back foot in, and just see how you go facing the front. Then bending your front knee, lift your back heel, and see if you can fold forwards, holding the floor. And from there, go a little closer, head to left knee, so you can lengthen your back here. Drawing your left hip back, your navel's drawing in towards the inner left thigh. Just stay there, see if you can twist. So if you bend your right knee a little bit, bend the back knee, lift the heel, maybe go a bit wider apart with your feet. Just leave either your right fingertips, notice I'm bending each finger, okay? Grab your left hip with your left hand, draw the left hip back, and then see if you can twist to the left. Okay, lower shoulder rolls in, upper shoulder rolled out. So we're going to twist while standing, and then you might be able to reach up. Another option here is to bring your back heel down, as we did earlier on, and just reach forwards, or if you can balance back heel up, back toes pointing forwards. We did this earlier on, okay, it's just a twist. Then we'll turn to the right, bring your chest around to the right, turning the left foot, go a bit wider with the feet, and then turn the feet in slightly. We work on a wide leg standing forward fold. So this one, just hold on to the hips, look up, take a breath, open out the chest, roll back the shoulders, and then look along the nose with the exhale. Keep the back fairly long, and then start to fold forwards. So you can hold your legs, if it hurts your lower back, it bends your back too much, just lift up, push on your legs. If you can reach your big toes, you want to wrap them up with the middle and index fingers, palms facing each other. See if you can balance just using your feet without the thumbs off on the floor. And just roll back the shoulders, tuck in the chin, draw in the lower back, lengthen the belly. Don't use your abs too much here. Maybe pull a little bit with the arms, or even straighten the legs a little bit more. Just go by what it feels like. Not too much, not too little. This is the grounding sequence. Let's come up slowly, hold on to the hips, and then we'll do the other side. So stay longer if you need in any of these. You can always pause the video, and we'll step back, feet together at the front of the mat. Let's try prayer position, inhale, left leg up, exhale, left leg back, and we'll do triangle pose again. So just you get your right big toe on the middle of the mat, toes pointing forwards, back foot turned in slightly, and then we'll go out over the right leg, hold on to the right leg, somewhere around the knee, and then keeping your belly a little short, your lower back lengthen, your abs on, lengthen the lower back, and then turn the chest around towards the wall. If you look up with the left thumb, so let this left shoulder roll back and down. Tuck in the chin, lengthen the back of the neck, and so you can keep this upper waist nice and firm, upper waist nice, lower waist nice and soft. You can pull on the leg if that's too easy. You can also use a block here. If you've got a block, you can put your hand on that, or just go a bit higher up the leg, just opening the front. In the twisted version, we're going to bring the back foot a little closer in, grab the hips, and see if you can twist around to the left. So push your left hip forwards, back foot's turned in a little bit, and then we'll just take the hands down and the head onto the knee. Another option here, if you're a little more mobile, is to straighten the front leg a bit more and work on the hamstring rather than your back stretch. Notice how I straighten my back and then I work on straightening the front leg. If that's still too easy, you can do whatever shoulder stretch you like. Lace fingers behind the back prayer position, or the cow's head arms. That's squaring to the front. Now twist to the right. So bring your left fingertips down. Again, you can hold a block here. You can hold the leg, you can hold your bottom. You can just be like this and reaching across. Holding the floor though with the left fingertips, this helps with balance. You might lift the back heel, turn the back toes to the front. Pelvis to the front, but now chest to the right. So lift the right shoulder, lift the gaze, maybe look up. If that's still too easy, maybe straighten the front leg, turn the back foot in, or bring your left fingers to the outer right foot or block. But again, consciously draw the right hip back to lengthen the upper outer right thigh. Then when you're ready, get back up to standing with an inhale, turning to the left. This time, same wide leg forward bend, but with the shoulder mobilizing. So if you want, lace the fingers around behind the back, check your outer feet are parallel. Your feet are about the width of your arms, wrists, and then we'll roll the shoulders back, open out the front. Inhale, look up, and then exhale. Keep the shoulders back and make your way into your standing wide leg forward bend. So just keep a little knee bend. Keep the belly a little bit long, the chin in, and just if you can get the shoulder blades to roll to back and towards each other, so you're lengthening all those frontal chest muscles. Spread out the toes, get a grip of the floor. Okay, and when you're ready, little knee bend, make your way up. Now I'm going to go straight to the floor here, so bring your hands down. Walk them around to the front of the mat and bring back your right foot. I'm going to work a little bit with the chest. Okay, so let's just do just a gentle front stretch. Try the hips towards the wrists. See if that's safe. If it's not, just look up in the cow. And then go back into child pose or downward facing dog pose. Drawing the chin. And I'm going to work on lifting the front. So come onto the knees and the front of the body. Set your right arm out to the side, 90-degree bend, and see if you can pull the arm back by wiggling your knees to the left, looking to the left, lower your right ear, and lift your left leg. I'm going to bend my right leg a little bit to make it a bit easier to stay on my side. Use my right lats here to draw the shoulder away from the ear, and I'm pushing a little bit with the left hand. You can also keep your head up if that's better. That's when you get a nice little neck stretch. If it's still too easy and you can catch your left leg, catch your left leg with your left hand. But that's not what it's about. Just, you also bring your right heel on the knee. Just work on your right chest for now. Again, stay there. We'll switch sides. Left forearm on the floor. Notice this is a 90-degree bend here, out to the side. And then bring your left ear down, right hip up. Push a little with your right hand, and then just using the floor and the tilt of the body, gently roll the left shoulder back. Draw the left shoulder blade down the back into your spine. If that's too easy again, you might reach back or catch the leg, or bring the upper leg down a little with your outer left heel. And then from there, we'll swivel on the left hip, bring the legs to the front for a bridge pose. So another way to lengthen the front again. So if you can roll down, once you're down, push down the feet, lift the hips, and up we come. So here you might use the back of the hands just to lift, not only lift the hips, but draw your bottom towards your knees so you don't bend just in your lower back. Keep your abs on. Pull on the sides of the mat, wiggle your shoulders back. You might also try lifting your hips that way, or maybe you can bring your arms underneath. Straighten your arms, lace the fingers. Keep your thighs parallel, the gaze down, and the front ribs drawn in a little bit. If it's safe, you want to come up into the full wheel, bring your fingers under the shoulders and lift up off the floor. When you're ready, come back down, wrap your knees, hug them in, and we'll do a little bit of work strengthening the abs. Okay, let's try hugging one knee in, pressing the lower back down, the lower leg slowly coming down towards the floor. Notice I've got my head and shoulders up. That's a good way to strengthen the front of the neck. Stay there, we'll do the other one. Pull on the leg, lift the upper body, press out through the heel. You can do this with your head on the floor. Another option is to hold the temples with the fingers and bring your opposite shoulder towards the bent leg. About 10 times. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then we'll try to head down, but wrists under your bottom. So just to lift the hips and bring your lower back closer to the floor to make it safe for your back. Then try one leg down, one leg up. Okay, stay with that, or if it's safe, try both legs coming down at the same time. You might stay 60 degrees for 2 or 3 breaths. Or if that's too easy, 45 degrees. And keeping your head up will strengthen the front of the neck. It's a good way to balance the strength of the back of the neck. 30 degrees here, just check your lower back feels safe. Great, and then bring your knees in and squeeze them in. I'm going to rock up to sitting, so cross your legs, rock on up, and we'll work a little bit with the boat pose. So lengthen the belly first, lift the chest, lean back, and then see if you can find your balance on the back edge of the sitting bones. Then release your grip. If you can balance, and if that's too easy, try the feet knee height or the legs straight, looking towards the toes. Then to push your belly out as you shorten it, so you can still breathe. Okay, and then we'll try the lift up. So if you bend the legs, push down your feet and hands, while you shorten the belly, you might be able to lift the hips up. Another option is to push with the feet, look up, and lift the feet as well. Okay, so lean back, give your belly a little stretch. Well done. Another stretch for that. Bent legs, hip width apart, lifting the hips. Press shoulders to the hips, maybe take your head back a little bit as well. Grip with your fingers. Okay, now work on the mobilizing the hips. So we're going to come into a cross-legged position. The feet are wider than the knees. They're further forwards. Lower legs are touching, and I'm actually bending the ankles to lengthen out any wrinkles at the back of the ankle. That muscle just protects the knee because it runs over the knee, protects the ankle. Another muscle to protect the knee here is the back of the leg, the hamstring, so you can pull on the floor with the outer edges of the feet. To come forwards, and not to bend your back, so you might, if you're sitting up pretty high, you can just push on the floor behind. If you're a little lower down, you might have to pull on the floor to the front, maybe with your arms straight or your arms bent, or you can also just pull on the feet. So getting a little more mobility in these hip buttock muscles, the deeper buttock muscles. Just feel what's happening. If it's not for you, just do a modified version of it. We're getting to the end of this little 1 hour yoga session. Stay with that one a little longer if you need, otherwise come on up and we'll work on the hamstring. So let's just give the legs a stretch out, turn out the feet, straighten them a bit more, make sure your knees are nice and stable, and then we'll work on lengthening the back. So let's try the back of the body here, the calf muscles. So lifting the toes, pulling on the toes, and just draw your chest up, lower back in, make sure your back's safe. And then once you've gotten your calf muscles lengthened, work on the hamstrings. So if you can't reach your feet, you can hold the legs. You can also wiggle your bottom back. But try to keep your lower back drawn in and the chest up. Well, we won't do the back, just the back of the spine just yet. Let's do the back of the legs. So do your calves and then introduce a little bit of a hamstring stretch. If you can't reach and you've got a belt or a strap, you can put that around the balls of your feet. If it's too easy, you might go to lace fingers around the feet. Maybe press your legs a little lower down, wherever it feels appropriate. It's not too much, not too little. And get the feeling of the lower back drawing in, the chest lifting, so you're not bending too much in the lower back to damage your lower back. Just feel what's happening here, the lower leg, the upper leg, the back of the leg. It's a seated forward bend, a hamstring calf stretch. Shoulders back and down, nice long back of the neck. Alright, so stay with that one or work on your back muscles now. So get rid of the leg stretch for now. Let's see how you go sitting up straight and then gradually relax your back and let the head come down towards the knees. You can use your knees for a little pillow. If that's too much, don't go all the way down. If it's too easy, you might bring your knees down a little bit, maybe even go in between your knees. Maybe support your shoulders on the legs so it's not too much of a back stretch. But feel it. It shouldn't be uncomfortable. It should just be a gentle lengthening of these very big lower back muscles. Often this pose is called siesta time, so like you have a sleep in this position. Okay, again, stay longer there. Or we'll lengthen the front again, so fingers pointing towards you, about a hand length back. Let's try the same we did before, hip width feet lifting up. If that's too easy, here's the straight leg option. So start with the legs together, the toes a bit pointed, the legs a little straighter, then push down the heels, push down the hands, draw your shoulders to the hips, and very gently take the head back, keeping the chin in while you grip with the fingertips. Look along the line of the nose. Just gradually take the tail higher and higher. This is a great way to relax your front and strengthen your back at the same time. Just be careful with your neck. Maybe you can always do the bent leg version. Then come on down again, and we'll do a twist. So just check when you lie on your back, you got a bit of padding under your head. Keep your right leg straight, put your left foot on the right thigh, and using your right arm, pull on your left leg. So you can see your left leg coming down. And now look off to the left, turn up the left palm, and then see if you can bring the back of your left shoulder down. Left ear down. Now stay there, or press a little more with your right hand, and see if you can get a little more twist. Let the belly lengthen, let the left side lengthen. Stay there or switch legs. Right foot on the left thigh. Tilt the hips to the left. Look and reach to the right. Then use your left hand just to gently pull down on your right leg. stay there a little longer if you need. Same with all of these postures. We'll finish with some relaxation. So drawing the soles of the feet up, knees apart, feet together. You can also go feet apart, knees together, or this one is tilting the hips to the side, using the weight of your leg to internally rotate the leg. Or you can do this one, the feet together, knees apart, lengthening the inner leg muscles. If you're a bit tight in the chest, you can spread your arms out to the sides, palms up, find some comfortable position, close the eyes. If your legs straighten and slide away, that's fine, just let them straighten. But take a deep breath. Feel the lungs are right up, take a bit more in. And just hold the breath. So using the breath to lengthen the muscles around the upper chest, the side ribs, the back ribs, the belly even. When you're ready to let it out, make a sound like a sighing sound. Just release your body completely, relax your face, widen the bridge of the nose. When you're closing the eyes, if you want to relax your forehead a bit more, lower the gaze as if you're looking down along the line of the nose. Just let the breath be free to go wherever it wants, in or outside the body. Gradually relaxing from the head to the toes and right out through to the fingers. And after a while, you might straighten your arms to relax the shoulders more, or straighten your legs to relax your pelvis a bit more. Notice the breath slowing down to just a shallow sip of air just when you need it. Listening to the background sounds. And relaxing a little bit more. once you've relaxed for long enough, usually 8 to 10 minutes is enough, more is fine. Roll onto your right side by bending your left knee. Use your right arm as a pillow, coming up in gentle stages. And we'll bookend the class with another chanted Om. So come to your favorite seated position, join up the palms, take a breath in. Namaste everyone, thanks for coming. Well done.